I'm Bear Wiseman with Tuonela magazine, and today I'm here with Jules Näveri of Spirit Razor. You may know him from Profane Omen back in the day, and more recently he's been working with the Come to Latin America project. So first things first, hello and welcome.
Thank
tell
you.
us a little bit about this whole contest.
Okay, well, the whole thing started in just a little bit before the whole pandemic shit show in 2020, and I got a message from my friend Nina Fu, asking that if I could help her out to put in an application to make a project that would be about metal music and trying to bring more new Finnish metal music to Latin America. So that was basically the nutshell idea of, okay, what are we going to do? And so she asked me to help her out a little bit with the ideas of well, me being here in Brazil, to kind of help her out to let her know more about how the system works here and who are the people who work in the industry, and also like kind of like make a whole scale of the market that we're talking about, so that we have a little bit more ammo to make this application. So I get to work and she gets to work, and maybe a couple of months after, we get a response that it's been through, and we got a funding from the Ministry of Education and Culture. So then we start to plan, and it was still pre-pandemic, and of course then it all happened, and we had a glorious idea that we're going to bring bands here and we're going to do something here, but then of course we couldn't do that, and we had to replan again because we didn't know how long the whole pandemic is going to go. So everything got replanned probably 15 times until we kind of locked it out that, okay, we're going to have sort of a band contest, but without being in an open band contest, because we wanted to actually have the bands from Finland that are already in some kind of a stage that people know them and they're being talked about. So in this case, we asked the whole music, metal music media in Finland, including Tuonela, to give us suggestions like, hey, which are the bands that we need to be talking about here? And we got about almost 140 suggestions from all the medias, and we decided to concentrate on the bands that were suggested the most. Basically, the bands that were given out the most. And then we had about 15 bands in the list that were definitely most discussed about. And then we gave this list to Blood Blast Music and Blood Blast Distribution and Nuclear Blast Records South America to kind of decide, okay, like, let us know the 10 bands that we are going to represent to a local South American jury that is journalists, musicians, promoters, booking agents, influencers, and we had more than 100 jury with us to kind of like giving their perspective about the bands. So they decide the 3 finalists from these 10 bands. So that's how we got Where's My Bible, Luna Kills, and Noira to be the finalists of this competition. Okay. And so after that, we moved to the phase where we let the South American or Latin American audience decide which band will be the winner, so to say, which band they like the most. And so it's especially in our key countries, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Mexico, Uruguay, and Peru. So these were the key countries that we concentrated, and those were the countries that we get the most votes from. So public decided that Where's My Bible was the winner of this competition. And now we are in a phase that we're discussing about possible tours and possible shows for Where's My Bible to come to play in South America, Latin America, which is something that we want this to happen. And so we are in this phase at the moment.
Yeah, it seemed like when talking to the bands, no one was quite sure like what the winner actually gets, but I suppose that has to do with the pandemic shaking everything up.
Yeah, it does. And from the get-go, we already knew that we can reward the winners. We can reward them with a contract with Blood Blast Distribution, who is the digital distribution of Nuclear Blast and Believe Music. So that's not a small deal at all. This gives a great opportunity for the bands to actually use the tools from Blood Blast to spread their music more worldwide. So this is a good thing for any of the bands who Where's My Bible wanted. So they now are discussing with Blood Blast to how to promote their music forward. But we still want to make something extra to happen, and that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the tours and possible shows for maybe not only for Where's My Bible, but maybe for some other bands as well in the competition. Yeah, that was in a nutshell the starting phase of the project and how we came to this point. But my role in the project has been more as a coordinator. The project innovator and the leader is Nina Fu from Nina Fu Oy, which is her company. And she was the one who applied for the funding for the project. And she's been having with all the strings in her hands concerning this project. She has an interesting history about working here in Latin America for several years with different business things. She's been negotiating with many companies, helping Finnish companies to enter to Latin America and South America. And so she always wanted to make something with music in here, and this was also one way to her to kind of enter this scene a bit more. And my role has been of assisting her and helping her to kind of scale out the whole market, and also to give her some insight how things work with PR wise and these things in South America, in Brazil especially. So I've been here as a hired gun to kind of like help out in anything what comes up. And of course, I've made the contacts to the press, asking about the suggestions about the bands and stuff like this. So yeah, I don't know what my title could be, but some kind of a coordinator. I think it's the best way to explain my part. So I kind of try to help out in every way I can and in every place I can. But I'm here only as a like a how do we call it, like a lemming. not like a director or anything, just like a staff guy.
Well, you do hear a lot about, I think maybe when you're reading comments online, it's always so many people in Latin America saying, please come tour here, please come tour here. So what are the biggest barriers that stop artists from getting to Latin America, and what can people in Latin America do to help bring their artists to the Southern Hemisphere?
I think it also always comes down to money. At the moment is of course even more expensive to tour here because you have to fly from every city to another. There is some tour possibilities that you could maybe explore, and I know some bands have done them to make a specific tour in South America by bus. It's not impossible. Some distances are not too impossible, and they are actually pretty good roads to drive on. So there is a culture of people moving around a lot with buses, but then it comes always to the matter of security, and so it would need to be planned out very well to kind of do that tour. That tour would be probably maximum 8 cities, because you have to kind of move around close and maybe not go a lot across the border. Of course, that's possible, but a little bit more difficult to organize. But these are the obstacles, that because you have to fly everywhere, it's expensive because of the flying, and then when you try to organize a tour, when you have to fly all the time, that ties your schedule so much. And then bands end up playing, like, even if they would have a huge tour, they could have like a 1-month tour in South America, but they might end up playing maybe 20 shows in this 1 month. They have to have some days off because of the flying, and they might have sometimes like, max 3 hours at a hotel where they can rest a little bit, and then they start continuing to another city. So it's tough. It's really tough because of the distances. But at the same time, it's a market that is growing the faster in the whole world at the moment. When you combine like the whole region of Latin America, it's growing really fast, and one of the factors is that digital music. Finally, people they have the access to all the music in the world so easily. So within the last, let's say, 10 years, it's been growing a lot. And of course, I'm not an expert, but I would say that if it continues like this, and which I think it will, soon this market area has to be in the top 10 of the whole world, and then it becomes even more important. So I think at the moment it's good to build bridges here for Finnish music to enter more easily, or to have more access to reliable PR sources, and also to reliable things to start growing their career here. And that's what we're also trying to do. So we're trying to create connections for the bands when they want to come, or the bands who have the possibility to start creating something here. They have a meaningful tools to actually help their career to get more noticed here. And we're talking about the market that is growing all the time. So I think it's important that there is some people here who try to help the bands who come here to actually try to give them put them to the right directions here to contact the right people.
Well, is there anything else you want to say about the contest in general, or bands, or anything like that before I let you go?
Yeah, I do actually. I was really happily, not even surprised, but I was just really happy about the variety of bands that ended up being in the 10 semi-finalist bands, but also like the bands that we got the suggestions from the media. There was like all of the bands were good. I mean, it's incredible the level that Finland has when it comes to young bands. It's just ridiculous. And you listen to these bands and you go like, okay, if this band is like 20 years old, or they're like 20 years old or something, and you automatically think back like, how did your band sound like when you were 20? And the amount of shame is like, the bands are so ready at such a young age already. It's astonishing. And it could have gone either way with these 10 bands, and the Latin American jury, they gave their points, and they decided together that it was Where's My Bible, Luna Kills, and Noira who were the finalists. But there were so many great bands that we see at the moment that are doing really good. Like, for example, just to mention a few, like Blame Me, they are doing a lot of shows. They're doing such a great job in their career. They already have their audience, and people are excited about them. working hard. Also, Sacred Dimensions. They're going places and they're doing a lot of great things. And also Roju, for example, just to kind of put out a few of the bands that are popping up all the time. And Garden Head, which was I think one of my personal favorites from these 10 bands. Incredible bands. And it was also really cool how these 3 finalist bands, Where's My Bible, Noira, and Luna Kills, how they were all very, very different from each other's. And so you could like really like, it was cool to see the reaction here when we were presenting these 3 bands to the audience here. So it was always like the reaction like, wow, it's so different. These bands are so different. I mean, it's incredible. And that's the way it should be. There's so many options for everybody. And nowadays, even I think that nowadays people are not too stuck up with one genre. They tend to also respect more other genres and also the blend of some genres as well. So they also value music that is different and has a lot of different kind of dimensions. And this is also happening here. But yeah, I'm really, really happy about all of these bands, and I hope, because one of the main thing about this project is that we hope that this project helped these bands to get some kind of a platform to go forward. And personally, I can feel that this is happening and bands are getting something out from it. So that was the idea, that we would get bands that are ready for it when it happens. And that was thanks to the Finnish metal music media that helped us out with the suggestions, that we got the bands that are ready for it. If we would have had an open competition, we would have been drowning in demos and we would never have the time to go through all of that music. And so this was the way of us being sure that we get the best of the best that is out there at the moment. And of course, the list could have been 50 bands and it would have been equally good. It would have been equally good, but there's only so less that we can kind of try to do at least something for them to push them somewhere. And for me, I'm already happy that I know that about 100 music professionals who work in really important places in South America and Latin America, they had the chance to listen to 10 really great new Finnish metal bands. So many of these guys, people who work here in the industry, they know already like some new Finnish metal bands, and you never know what that can amount to. So that can be something interesting in the future for some bands as well.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I know it's way earlier over there than it is here. And for those of you watching, check out Where's My Bible, check out Luna Kills, check out Noira, check out all of the Finnish metal scene right now. It's absolutely great. Thank you for watching.